Hi everyone, welcome to our online training. I know you've had so much fun doing these all through pre-service so far, but I have a few more little modules that we need to get through to make sure you're prepared for when students come back. So if you have not already been on campus, you're going to need to stop by and pick up your red emergency folder. Those will be available in your mailbox, so please make sure that you pick yours up. You can do the training at school, or you can do the training from your home, but don't go any farther if you don't have your folder in front of you, because you will need it to answer questions and all that fun stuff. So let's get started. The purpose of this training is to make sure that you understand all the safety procedures that are going to take place this year, how to do our 3 different kinds of drills, which is our our lockdown drills, our fire drills, and our evacuation drills. In this training, we're also going to talk about some of the changes that are going to occur this year with duties, coverage, and what our campus will look like. And then if you have any questions after watching this video, there is going to be an opportunity for you, 1, to take your quiz in Canvas, and 2, to ask me any questions. So hopefully you will feel confident before our babies start. Now, as of right now, we are supposed to be coming back on September 14th for modified in person. So this training needs to be completed before that date. Enjoy yourself. I will try to get through this quickly so I don't waste too much of your time, but there are lots of pages and lots of things that I want to point out and make sure you don't forget. So I apologize. There are, like, on my computer screen, there's things going off. My cell phone, I'm dinging like I'm just, my child's back here doing her online learning. So anyway, hopefully we won't be too distracted today. So if you go ahead and open up your folder, you're going to see a bunch of different things here for you. The first, on the inside folder, you will see that there is just a school-wide map and a phone list. This is just, in emergency situations, we want to know where everyone is and how to contact everyone. So those are helpful for you to have and know. You also have in here these colored pages. And these are going to talk, these are the 3 different drills are color coordinated. So we've got our lockdowns are one color, we've got our evacuation drills are the green ones, and we've got our fire drills are blue. Let's start with the 1-pager. We have both a modified and a full lockdown. I will tell you, when we practice our drills, we are always going to do full lockdowns. And I know that this is something that teachers have been confused about in past years. And so I'm just going to throw it out there right now. If we ever do a practice, and here's why. We used to know when practicing, I would be the one who would be like, hi, today we're going to practice a lockdown drill. And then I would say, okay, we're going to practice a modified, and we would go into it. Well, now practicing happens from the district. I'm not the one who's necessarily saying when we're going to practice. So I don't know if it's real or not, just like you don't know if it's real or not. So we always go full blown and just assume it's real. And then after the fact, we will let you know, thank you for your participation. This was a drill. And then we will send a caller home to notify parents that we practice as if it's real and everyone's safe. So there are times, though, when we're on campus and we know that it's real, but it's not quite to the point of being a full lockdown. So let's say there's something going on in the neighborhood and we kind of just want to prepare ourselves and get ready, but it's not quite to the extent of a full lockdown yet. We would do what's called a modified lockdown. And what that means is everyone just locks themselves in their classroom. You kind of lower the volume. Kids aren't running around doing, a lot of high movement activities. You can continue to teach. You can continue to talk quietly, but it's definitely preparing for if something more were to transpire. And that's usually, we'll do those when we know that the police are on the radio talking and we're just kind of starting to prepare. In the case that it turns into a real lockdown, a full lockdown, or if we just get a call from, our SRO gets a call on the radio and it's like, hey, we're going into full lockdown, then you just, everyone, lights off, everyone away from the doors. You've got all the protocols here. And you have to make sure that you're taking attendance and logging everyone onto the computer. Now, you're going to log to the lockdown response form. You're going to do this whether it is a full lockdown or even if it's modified. So you see that it's the same on both pages. You go to the same form and you're going to document the number of kids that you have, who's in your classroom, if there's any visitors, if there's anyone missing, all that kind of stuff. And that comes to me live so I can keep track and figure out who's where and what's what and all that fun stuff. If I want you to practice doing this. So today, one of the activities that you're going to do after you finish is you're going to practice logging into that just so I know that you know where it is, and you're simply going to write test in it and then submit it. So, or you can make it fun, just so I enjoy myself a little more. But that's how I'm going to know that you have gone through this training and practice. So that's the procedures for the modified and the full lockdown. One thing to keep in mind when we're practicing, do not allow your students to not take it seriously. Okay, so there should be nobody's in here, or no screaming, or I'm scared to try to get a rise out of the class. We want to teach kids up front that we need to be calm, we need to be quiet, and we need to make sure that no one knows that we are inside the classroom. Students, because of the circumstances we have right now with social distancing, we still want kids to move away from the door, but we're not necessarily going to have them huddle in a little tiny ball in the corner. So we just want to have them away from the door, away from windows or whatever, the access points are, but have them have masks on and kind of try to still keep to themselves. So that's a lockdown drill. The next one we're going to do is our green pages, and there's 3 of them. This is for an evacuation drill. Evacuations are typically used if we need to get off campus. So if there's a fire, but it's like the whole fire or the whole school is like going up in flames and we need to move away from the building, right? Or if there is a gas leak, or if there's something major that requires us to move away from campus. There are 2 spots that we use. We use the church that is just north of the school, the Heritage, I forget what the name is, Heritage something church. I should know it, and I apologize. I've been out of school for 5 months, so please forgive me. But the other one, there is another church that is down south. It's the Jehovah's Witness church that's south of the school and across the street on Horn. We're not going to practice with that one, but that also has another large lot. We would do the same thing. We'd line up in order just as we would at the Desert Heritage Church. That's the name of it. So what you need to know for this particular drill is that we only are going to do it once or twice a year. That's all that's required. They would like us to do it once each quarter, or once each semester. Because of everything with COVID right now, I don't know that we're going to do it twice this particular school year. But here's what you need to know. We're going to evacuate the school through 3 different gates, and I'm going to zoom in up here. Okay, so this is Keno Junior High, and this is the church that's to the north. Our classes are all going to line up in the grassy area right next to the church, and this is along Horn. But all the students are going to get either out of the main building and walk down Horn. There's certain classes, and it says right here who you are. Certain classes will walk through here by the auditorium and go out this middle gate here. And then our PE classes, our portables and things like that, they'll come around and they will, and they will come up through this gate 8 right here. So we're trying to avoid bottlenecking. We'd like kids to, again, use social distancing so that these drills can be safe. We are going to be outside for these drills, but because we are going to be so close together, we do still want students to wear masks even when we do this evacuation drill. When we so you'll hear, students, we're going to evacuate. You'll take your class, you'll bring your red emergency bucket and that form to Update your emergency bucket is going to be included in the Canvas activity as well. So if there are things in your bucket that you still need, or if you don't have one at all, you need to let us know so we can replace those items for you. You'll take your bucket, you'll take your students, and you'll walk to the church. Now, once you're in the church, we have it labeled like so. You can see that there's area 1 all the way to area 9. Your students are going to be in a straight line facing the parking lot, so it'll kind of be like this. And then they'll stay put until we get all attendance taken, and then we'll release from there. You will have to take attendance, and then the monitor from your area is going to make sure that all the kids are there. They don't necessarily have to collect attendance from you, but they need to know that they're there. And then that person will check off next to your name that you've got everyone. And then they will turn this into me. Okay. So if you are a monitor, you will know that because there is an asterisk by your name. If there's 1 star, that means you're monitor number 1. If there's 2 stars, that means you're monitor number 2. Monitor number 2 is the person in charge if monitor 1 is not available. It's like blurry. Sorry. There we go. So monitor 1, you're the boss for this, but if they are not present, monitor 2, please make sure you know what to do. If you are a monitor, you are going to have a packet full of extras, and of course I took it out of here. No, I didn't. You will have a bunch of white pages. This is so that you can turn them in if we ever have the evacuation drills, so that you don't have to give me your main copy. So you'll only have these white ones if you are an actual monitor for this activity. Okay. So I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. There is one more green page in here that talks about, on the backside, it talks about bomb threats. In the 15 years that I've been at Keno, we've never had a bomb threat, but basically if there's a bomb on campus, we have to get off. So I just want to let you know that there is a procedure, which is the evacuation to get us off campus if that was the case, but I don't think what's going to happen. Although it is the year 2020, so I mean, you know, anything is possible. Just, I don't know. I'm not going to freak anybody out right now. Let's move on to fire drills, shall we? Okay, so the fire drill is the one that we have once a month. It is the most common. We're going to be practicing at different times throughout the day so that you will have practice with different classes. We don't want you always practicing with the same class because that's not realistic, that the fire drill is going to happen exactly at the time that we choose. Now, district has changed protocols on fire drills. It used to be that I would let you know when they were coming. Unfortunately, that is not the case anymore. So just prepare yourself. I'm apologizing in advance that you will hear the fire alarm go off and you will not necessarily be prepared. I will do my best to look at major testing dates, but I just don't always know all those things for every teacher in every classroom, and you know how that goes. Fire drills are tricky because teachers don't always understand that the way the most important time of the fire drill is the first part, getting everyone quickly and quietly out of the building. It's scary. There's screaming. There's hysteria. And we're trying to constantly practice this drill so that we can avoid that. Because I may not have my radio on me, or, security there's going to be a lot going on if it's real. And so we're going to need to hear. And so that's why you will hear me be very, very strict about on the way out to fire drills. It should be absolutely silent. You should hear a pin drop. And I will tell you, there are some teachers on this campus who are rock stars at making this happen. Mr. Hatcher always practices with his students when they don't get it right. I've seen Miss Lingle's class. They always are earning Keno cash from me for being fantastic with this. So those are a few that stand out for just being amazing and awesome. Please be that teacher. hold your kids accountable. If they are not following expectations, if they are not silent in a straight line, wearing their masks, facing forward, make them do it again. Practice again until they understand that we mean business with this one. So that's my little soapbox about why we do that. It's so that I can know what's going on everywhere and we can find missing students quickly, and it's helpful to do that when it's quiet. So areas, for those of you who are returning teachers, areas are going to stay the same as last year. Again, we've got 5 main areas for those who are new. Area 1 is down here outside of the main building on the corner of Keno Drive and Horn. We have area 2 is on the basketball courts, and then areas 3, 4, and 5 are going to be on the football field. So everyone's going to be kind of within the same areas. If you are in the auditorium, you are going to have to walk over, and you're going to come over to the basketball courts. I'm trying to think what else you need to know. I think that's it for areas or special things to know. But just be aware, know where you go, know what your area is. There's some new classrooms this year, or things have slightly changed a little. So just locate your area. Again, a few of the monitors are different, so please notice if you are a monitor for this. And again, if you are a monitor, sorry, it keeps being blurry. I apologize. If you're a monitor, you're going to get a whole bunch of extra white copies of this blue form in your folder. And these copies will be how you do your first call and your second call. If you are a new monitor and you've never done this before, directions are here. I can practice with you if that would make you feel more comfortable, but it's pretty self-explanatory. First call is when everyone's out of the building. Second call is when everyone has taken attendance and we know everyone is good to go. So those are the fire drill procedures. Again, we will be doing those every month. Oh no, let me turn that off. Okay. Now, if we are at an evacuation drill or at a fire drill, you can use this if all of a sudden, let's say a kid faints, right? And you need, help, and you have a kid hold this up so we know where we're sending security or the nurse or whatever. You will not use this, and I repeat, you will not use this if it is a lockdown. We do not want anyone knowing which rooms are occupied and which rooms are empty. So it is your job, if there is and oh my goodness, I can't say it, a medical emergency, there we go, 5th time's a charm, you will put this in your, you will just let us know on the chat feature or through the online reporting thing so that you know that. Okay. 2 more things. Oh, sorry. Here's the sign that you'll hold up once you've taken attendance at a fire drill. On the back it says, we're missing somebody, and on the front it says, we're all good. So just know that you have that for fire drills. And finally, the last thing is there are some extra duties that I have had to give to people for specific drills. It shows the fire drill, the evacuation drill, the lockdown drill. And so just be aware that you need to read this and make sure that you don't have an extra duty this year, because some of you might, and I want you to be prepared for when that happens. Okay. Last but not least, there's an updated list of all the teachers and what class they're in this year. So when you are a monitor or you're taking attendance or you're trying to figure out where to go or where to send your kids or who's who, you know who the person is and what classroom they are in. Okay. The next thing, that's a lot of rambling, and I apologize for that. But those are our drills, so read this. There's going to be little quizzy maboobs and things for you to do in Canvas right after this. The last thing I want to talk about is the duty schedule and procedures on campus. So this year, students are going to be coming to school. If they're a bus rider, which most of them are, they will be sitting on their bus until they are released. Once they're released from their bus, they'll come inside, they'll get their breakfast, and then they will go straight to their first hour class. Kids are not going to be mingling and visiting in the mornings just because that's a lot of non-social distancing behaviors, okay? So teachers, you're going to be in your classrooms in the morning with your students. You're not necessarily doing tutoring or anything. You can, but you're going to have to be prepared that you'll have to set up whatever you want that procedure to look like for breakfast. There'll be garbage cans outside the classrooms for kids to throw out trash and whatnot, but they shouldn't be visiting the hallways, walking around, etc. When you have a student, so no one's going to have morning duty. That's the nice part. The only people that are going to have morning duties are first hour teachers. They're going to help me with traffic flow and making sure that kids are staying put in classrooms. There will be duties after school and during lunches. There's probably going to be a lot of people wanting to do tutoring time during lunches, since I have heard you talk about the number of failing students you're hearing already. And I also know that we are going to need help at the end of the day, getting kids out in a very orderly fashion, social distance kind of way. So you will see the form to sign up for which committee you would prefer to do. Sorry, not committee. I'm doing those also. The duties that you would prefer to do. Your only choices will be during the day during lunch or after school. Now, if you're doing it during lunch and you're opening up tutoring rooms or lunch intervention rooms for like lunch detention kids, just know that you will be receiving a free lunch on those days. So that's that. Okay. The hallways are going to be one way. Olivia, can you maybe not? Thank you. The hallways are going to be one way. There's going to be a lot of things for you to notice, like some kids will take longer to get to their classes simply because of the way that the traffic flows through the hallways. So we are going to not be marking tardies, and that's a district directive this year. So we're going to have to get creative with how we're doing tardies and giving grace. Obviously, kids that are abusing it, we'll need to work with them, but we're going to kind of cut them some slack, knowing that they're coming from far distances and maybe going in a one-way direction. So that's that. So you've got a few things to complete after this. You've got a little quiz. You've got your duties to sign up for. You've got some other little things that I mentioned in this video that you're going to work on. I'm not going to keep you any longer, but there is also one more section for if you have questions or concerns or suggestions. You can leave those for me in the Canvas box, in the Canvas course for this activity. So enjoy your year, and I'm done speaking. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.